Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. We are grateful that you are here with us today for our amazing session we're going to have around the topic of mental health. I'm going to share my screen and just provide some updates regarding the partnership. My name is Lamecca Holmes, and I am the director of the East Flatbush Partnership. We do have Cindy Reed on. Cindy, would you like to introduce yourself really quickly?
Hello, everyone. Cindy Reed here, community organizer with the partnership. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Cindy. All right. So here are some updates about the partnerships. And again, if you are a resident, please put the word resident in the chat so I can add your name so that we do the raffle and you might get selected. We have today is the first day of our mental health um, workshop series. It's going to be today. And then we're going to have the second one on May 20th, same time. And so definitely encourage you, if you're here today, two things I encourage you to do. Come back on the 20th and then bring two people with you. Okay. So you can definitely share. There's a QR code there that you can scan. The Zoom information is going to be the same. So you can share that information with them. We greatly appreciate it. The more people that we can equip with this information, I think the better off we'll be as a society. So I encourage you to do that. We do have an upcoming event. It is our community baby shower that is going to be held this week on May 15th, 11 until 2 p.m. It's going to be at 1095 Flatbush Avenue. And this is an amazing event that we've began doing it annually. And so we have a lot of activities going on. We're going to have a panel discussion, raffle prizes, and we're going to have some great information. So this is specifically for expecting moms or dads, the whole family is invited, but we're just asking that the child be unborn up until 6 months old. Okay. So families that are expecting up until 6 months old is who this session is geared towards. Okay. All right. So next up, we have our event on navigating your local government in partnership with um, the Mayor's Office of Faith-Based and Community Partnerships, and specifically Pastor Monroe. He's been a long-standing partner with us with the East Flatbush Community Partnership. So that event is going to be held on May 20th at 2 p.m. This is for anyone who is looking to figure out potentially how to get grants from the government, how to get things done in the government, who do you need to speak to in the government. So you will want to come if you want information around those topics. The next event that we have coming up is going to be on May 31st at 12:30. Space is limited, so we ask that you register in advance. It is going to be a Pilates Power Hour, and that is going to be held at 100 Utica Avenue at the Rugby Library. Okay. And then we also have our Juneteenth celebration happening on June 20th at 4 p.m. And this is we're asking that you save the date for it. And also you can scan the QR code as well. Okay. That is going to be an event where we're going to have cooking going on. All right. Next up, we have our Day for Our Kings event. It's a men's appreciation event. Again, an event that we've been doing annually. This time it's going to be on 2 different days and 2 different locations. One is going to be on June 21st at Halal Plaza, and you can register for that. Spread the word. We're going to have complimentary massages, health screenings, haircuts. These events are always a blast. So we invite you to bring a man that you appreciate with you. Bring your son, bring your, uncle, your dad, bring them out so we can love up on them. Okay. And then the other event, okay. So the other one is, I don't have the flyer for it, but I'll make sure I put that information in the chat. Okay. All right. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing. And I would love to, at this point, introduce our amazing guest speaker. His name is Brett Scrutter, and he's going to be sharing some really great information around mental health. I encourage you all at the top of the hour to get your notepads, because I know sometimes, we sit in workshops like this and the information is great, but we can't retain everything. So I just encourage you to take notes on whatever resonates with you. And we do have the recording, so we will share it out for those of you who do want to, go back and look over what was discussed. So with that said, Brett, I pass it over to you.
All right, all right, all right. Yes, yes, yes. We are here. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hold on. No.
I think they scared to unmute. Gotta
Oh
help
my
them out.
God. All right, listen, everybody. Listen, we are going to have a great time. It's a great day. It's a beautiful day. We're alive. We're breathing. I need everybody to wake up right now. I need to feel your energy, right? We need to feel your energy. So let's try this again. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, that's a little bit better. All right, I can work with that. That's a little bit better. If I'm giving you my energy, you got to give me back energy, right? So that's how we're reciprocating tonight. All right. So for those who were with us the last time, I know we touched on some things and some people felt a little bit great about it. Some people didn't. It woke up some things in some people, and there were some things that some of us needed to talk about. So I'm glad for those who reached out. And I'm really happy to know that the conversations are happening. So tonight, because you're all such beautiful people and I love you so much, I'm going to give you this packed session and just pack it very tightly because I don't have a lot of time with you. And the next session, we're going to do some other things in that. So let's start. Here's what we're going to do. It's going to be very interactive. All right, everybody. I want us to talk. I want you to ask questions. I want you to say, hold on, Mr. Brett. Hold on. Wait. You just said something that made me think about some things, Mr. Brett. So let me ask you a question. I want you to engage with me, all right, and be interactive with me. So we're going to talk about mental health, emotional wellness, and the need and ways to prioritize self-care, self-love, and holistic wellness. It is so important right now. I got to tell you, the conversations that I'm having with people right now around their mental health during all this chaos and insanity that's going on, it is frightening to know that so many people are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, stressed beyond stressed, right? And just so fearful right now of so many things. The hard realities that we're facing right now is very scary. But let me say this to you. We have been here before. This is not something new. This is not something new. We have been here before. The two things that are affecting us the most right now is the one that technology and social media are providing more information to us to hear more stories and to hear more of what's happening and to see what's happening firsthand and to visualize what we're hearing. And so unfortunately, a lot of us are watching the news and watching media and we're absorbing in all of that secondary trauma of everything that's happening. And that's a very bad thing. Okay? Got to be very careful, everyone. Please be very careful. Limit your screen time watching TV. I want to start off with this. Limit your screen time watching TV, listening to the news, and being around people who like to sensationalize things. You got some people, they just like to blow things up more than what it should be, right? Got to be very careful of people like those because they're the ones that get your blood pressure up. All right? Remember, we're going to have a conversation tonight, okay? Always start off with what is mental health. I want everybody to understand this. I want us to really get an understanding of this because a lot of us are thinking to ourselves that mental health is such a negative thing that we don't want therapy and counseling. We don't want to go and see someone about how we're feeling. And so my goal is to help to destigmatize the word mental health, the words mental health for us to understand. So as you look on the screen right now, for those who can see it, mental health is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being to cope with and function in every aspect of our life with challenges, pleasures, ups, downs, happiness, sorrows, successes, failures, and disappointments, all of those things. So if this is what mental health is and means, what does that say to all of us? That we all have a mental health We all experience something that affects our mental health. We are all on the mental health spectrum.
Mr. Brett,
Some-
excuse me. Can you take off the caption? It's coming up with caption.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that out to me. That's better. I just saw that was on. All right. Yes. We are all experiencing some kind of mental health, something, whatever you want to call it, comes in different waves, comes with different emotions, comes with different behaviors. But the one important thing I want us to take away today is this understanding of what mental health is, because a lot of negativity is around this word, these words of mental health. A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want to get therapy and counseling because I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy. And, this whole mental health thing is just, sounding really bad and all that. Every single person experiences mental health every day of their life. Through the different experiences, the challenges of all that we're going through, every single one of us experiences something about our health, mental health, every day, multiple times a day. All right. So this is not something we should be afraid of. This is not something we should be ashamed of. And I can just tell you right now, I'm going to admit it to you all that I am crazy. Okay. You can tell everybody that Mr. Brett Scudder said he is crazy and it is okay to be crazy. Okay. Miss Holmes, you heard me, right? So I want to make sure people heard me. Mr. Scudder said he is crazy and it is okay to be crazy. So let's get that out of the way. All right, so now you don't have to worry about being crazy because Mr. Scudder already, if Mr. Scudder can say he's crazy, everybody can say they're crazy and it's okay. So let's get that out of the way. Second thing is looking at, what is emotional wellness? Slightly different, but still the same. They're both intertwined. It's our ability to manage and function, with everyday stressors, challenges of life, the state of mind that promotes our traits, morals, ethics, and values. Which one of us in this room right now can say we don't have those traits, we don't have morals, or we don't have ethics, or we don't have values? Every single one of us do, just like mental health. It's our emotions and regulating our emotions that's important when it comes to emotional wellness. It's how we handle the everyday stressors, challenges, struggles, pleasures, and fulfillment of life, and not allowing ourselves to be lost in and negatively affected by, unable to see our way through them. That's our emotional wellness. So if I was to ask everybody right now, how do you feel? How would you describe one word of how you're feeling right now? Come on, everybody, just unmute real quick. Just sort of one word of how you're feeling right now when you think about your emotions.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you.
Elated.
Elated. Thank you.
Blessed to be alive.
Blessed. Amen. Thank you. Come on, people. Come on, people. Everybody sleeping? No, it's a beautiful day, but don't fall asleep on me. What about humble? What about grateful? What about thankful? What about anxious, stressed, fearful, heavy weight on my chest, feel like I can't breathe, having palpitations, severe headaches, body shaking, don't know why I'm feeling these ways, but it's happening, right? These are everyday things that we feel in our lives as we go through our day-to-day challenges, right? Sometimes it's caused by us, sometimes it's caused by someone else on us, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of us can recognize things that are on here that we can say, this is how I'm feeling, this is where my emotions is, this is what my mental health feels like and looks like, and it is okay. What do you see when you think of, what do you see and think about these two images on the screen right now?
Sadness.
Sadness. All right, thank you.
It makes me think about how you can be happy and sad at the same time. Like you can have mixed emotions.
All right, thank you. Great, thank you. Come on, everybody, need input. Be engaged. Let's engage. What do you see and think about those two images?
Happy and sad. What's real and what's not?
Happy and sad, what's real and what's not. Thank you so much. So question is, which one is happy? Which one is sad?
The right image is sad, and the left one seems like it could be a facade, what's shown to the outside.
Thank you for breaking that down. So you said the right one is sad? That's what I heard, right? The right one is
Yes,
sad.
yes, you heard correctly.
Okay, thank you. Why do we say the right one is sad?
The tears.
The tears. Have you ever laughed until you cried?
Yes, but that face looks like it's in some kind of distress.
Distress.
Mm-hmm.
About
So-
the floor.
Right, and the other one, the image on the left now, you see the cheeks puckered up, so it more looks like a smile to me.
Okay, thank you. So physical appearances says a lot, right? In what we see. Right? That's
What
basically
we see is not necessarily what's going on inside. That's part of the problem, but anyway.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's exactly the message that we want to deliver tonight. We can't look at someone and just because they look the way we think they look, we know how they're feeling. There are a lot of times people look at me and say, you know, oh, Mr. Scotty, you look so great. You look so, look so well. You look so great. And then I tell them how many health challenges I'm going through, that I was in the health system 63 times last year for 12 different health conditions, that right now, as I'm standing here doing this presentation, my pain level from 1 to 10 is 15. And they're like, hold on, wait, what? Like I can't process what you're saying. What do you, like, people get so confused because they think that because they see you and you look well, you dress well, you're working, you're doing your work, you're doing a great job, you're up and you're about, we think that we know what people are going through. And unfortunately, that's one of the big misconceptions we have, and one of the main reasons why we can't connect with a lot of people who are going through things. People wear masks because they don't want anyone to know what they're going through, because sometimes just by people knowing what you're going through, people can start probing into your life and start making you feel less than simply because you're going through something, right? And so these masks, just like Ms. Holmes said, could be the same person, one second laughing, another second crying. Why are you crying could be 10 different reasons. Why are you laughing could be 10 different reasons. The only way that we're going to know how someone is feeling and what their mental and emotional wellness is by asking, how are you? Not to assume. Not to assume. Assumption is one of the main issues and the main reasons why we lose connections with a lot of people, because we assume that we know how they feel. And we assume that by seeing what we're seeing, we can tell them, oh, you look stressed out. Why you look so depressed? Have you ever heard somebody say that? Or has someone ever said that to you? Like, you look so tired, you look so stressed out, you look so depressed. What's wrong? What? Just by our outward appearance, a lot of times people criticize and judge. We shouldn't be ashamed or afraid to talk about how we're feeling. Depression is now one of the number 3 leading health conditions across the world. Depression. One of the top 3 health conditions across the world. It didn't just pop up overnight. It didn't just happen overnight. This has been happening for a while to where we are with this right now. So as we look at the understanding on what depression really is, I want us to think for a second, right? Do we know anyone right now who could be depressed?
That can be anybody and everybody. You
Yep.
can't really tell. Depression doesn't necessarily wear a face on the outside.
Thank you.
Sometimes it comes really dressed up with beautiful smiles and beautiful clothes. You can't really know what's going on inside unless you, as you said, you talk to people and engage.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. If people around us are depressed and are fearful of saying and talking about how they're feeling, and then next thing you know, Mr. Scudder killed himself because he was going through so much. He was so overwhelmed. He was so stressed out. He was suffering so much. He killed himself. And then all of a sudden, people are going to say, well, you know, I saw him yesterday. I saw him at church last night. I saw him at the job yesterday. I saw him at an event. And you start hearing people talking about where they saw the person and how the person may have looked. Oh, I didn't even know he was going through something. What happened? And all these different things that people start saying. But we have not created a society and a social construct that allows people to express their mental and emotional wellness without fear of judgment, being chastised, being belittled, and ostracized, right? So depression is an experience, and every single one of us can experience depression at some level for whatever reason. There are so many triggers, so many things that can happen in life that can trigger us feeling depressed. So we should not be making this such a bad thing or such a negative thing that turns people off from sharing how they're feeling, because if we're not hearing how they're feeling and we wait for them to act on how they're feeling, we're going to lose people in a lot of different ways. Depression has the potential to change a person's character, behaviors, thoughts, feelings, mood, appetite, so many things, sleep pattern, all of those things, right? So we need to take this seriously and start asking ourselves, how can we engage, like we're doing right now, in this topic around depression? So let's look at another major topic of what we're dealing with right now, trauma, right? Let's talk about trauma for a minute, because I think a lot of people don't understand what trauma really is. So trauma is a psychological response to an event, an incident, or an experience, right? If you look at those three words, an event, an incident, or an experience that is deeply distressing or disturbing to the person. To the person. The reason why to the person is underlined is because it hurts me so badly when I hear someone trying to tell somebody, oh, I went through the same thing and look at me, I'm okay. I'm not doing like, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? Why are you behaving like this? We all were here when the same thing happened. Why you are acting like this? Come on, don't be like that. We can't say that to someone. We can't tell someone how they should react or respond. We can't tell someone how they should feel about the event or the incident or the experience. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's on you, but the person is experiencing the traumatic emotions of the incident or the event and may be struggling. As they look at these images that are on the screen, there are 5 images here that shows different ways in which people can be reacting to trauma. And you look at the bottom of the screen, this man is laughing his head off, like he's hilarious. Have you ever seen someone laugh in the middle of some of the worst things and you say, how can you laugh at a time like this, right? How can you laugh at a time like this? You think the person is laughing because they find it funny? It's not that they find it funny, it's just the way in which they react to something that is so deeply distressing and disturbing. It's a psychological response. Everybody's not going to respond and behave the same way to an event, an incident, or an experience. We could all be in this room right now and something happens. Every single person is going to react and respond differently. Sometimes it's the things that we say to people that makes them feel more isolated and afraid to talk about how they're feeling, especially when they've experienced trauma. Everybody does not respond and react to incidents, events, or experiences the same way. And we really, really need to, folks, we really, really need to understand trauma is very, very serious. Right now, there are so many different traumatic things happening, right? So many different things happening. You have gun violence. You have immigration issues. You have cost of living. You have people who are losing their jobs. People are losing their livelihood. People are losing. It's so many things that are happening, and people are just caught up in the trauma of all of this. Some people who are not even physically aware things have happened are caught in the secondary trauma of it because somebody else is saying or talking about it, or they're seeing it on the news and TV. So as you look on your screen right now, you see these words wrapped around trauma. These are the experiences and responses to people who are experiencing the trauma, right? We got to understand trauma. For us to be trauma-informed care as a community is so critical, because guess what? You may be the first person that Miss Cindy goes to and say, hey, something just happened and I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling right. And she comes to you and she's saying it to you, and you're going to be either able to help her by knowing how to respond, by knowing what to say, or you may say something that pushes her away from you and now not want to tell anyone about what she's going through. Trauma affects males and females differently. Males struggle with trauma because trauma triggers things in males that they feel society says is not something men should be experiencing. Men don't cry, don't act weak, don't talk about how you don't know how to do this or can't do this or can't. You got to man up. You got to be a man. You got to take it like a man. You got to present as a man. You got to present this whole idea of being strong. And so a lot of males, a lot of us are emotionally weak and emotionally broken because society and the social construct we live in is not allowing us to really express how we're feeling. And so we bottle up a lot of these things inside. And so we start drinking, we start smoking, we're not sleeping well, we're not eating well, our blood pressure is high, cholesterol level is high. All these negative things that happens because as men, when we experience trauma, where do we go? Where do we go? Who do we talk with? Many of us can't even tell our partners that we're sleeping in the same bed with, who are intimate with, how we truly are feeling. We can't tell our families, can't tell our loved ones, because everybody still has the same mindset in the social construct of what masculinity is. And that's what's killing a lot of us men, because when this all bottles up so much inside and we can't hold it inside anymore and it explodes into aggression, violent behaviors, aggressive behaviors, you know, like a lot of very negative and bad things. And then on top of that, you're going to label us as addicts. You're addict, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're taking all these drugs, you're an addict. You don't know why I'm feeling the way or why I'm using the drugs. You don't know why I'm drinking alcohol so much. It's because, again, I've experienced something that I don't know what to do with it and it's hurting me inside. I can't even tell you. Trauma. We need to understand trauma. Someone could get shot right now down the block and dies from that. You may not have been there, you didn't know the person, but just hearing that someone was shot and killed, especially if it's a young child, the young children, it always hits home harder when it's children, right? And now you're traumatized just thinking about what happened and how that young child died the way that they did, and then the news and the whole thing of the news and keep, oh my God. I want us to really understand trauma significantly. I want us to really understand trauma. PTSD is one of the leading health conditions in our communities around New York City. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from so many things. Somebody say, oh, Mrs. Scudder, I don't have PTSD. You know, these things don't affect me and all of, no, I'm not. I said, oh, really? Okay. Are you aware of 9/11? Are you aware of 9/11? Yes. How do you feel about 9/11? And they start telling me how they feel. I said, okay, so that is a form of PTSD. The trauma of 9/11 affected not just people in New York City, but people around the world. And 25 years later, we're still seeing PTSD from 9/11. That's to show you how people, as a society, we don't even understand trauma, right? Immediately after the event or the experience, shock, denial are typical and can vary in each person, even if everyone share the same experience. So here are some of the impacts. I want to, put as much as we can into this time together. So you can either take pictures of what you see on your screen or you can write them down, but here are the things that I want us to really think about when it comes to the reactions to trauma, right? Flashbacks, nightmares, agoraphobia means fear around being around people, memory loss, mood changes, hypervigilance, anxiety and panic attacks, unable to stay focused, changes in sleeping patterns, unpredictable behaviors and emotions, self-worth and self-esteem conflicts. These are just some of the things that makes it unable to manage emotions as we face our experiences with trauma. The reality is very real. The reality is very real. As we look again, and let's talk about even physical symptoms: nausea, joint pains, weight loss, weight gain, sexual dysfunction, change in appetite, loss of employment, health complications, strained relationships, stomach aches, change in sexual appetite, migraines, headaches, varied intensity of these things. These are physical symptoms of trauma. Ms. Holmes, keep an eye on the chat for me, please. And let me know if there are any questions or stuff in the chat, okay? Because
Sure.
I'm not looking.
No problem.
Yeah, so these are physical symptoms of trauma. So what if you're experiencing these symptoms, one of these symptoms or multiple of these symptoms, and you're going to the doctor every day, you're going to the hospital, you're seeing your doctor, they run every test known, and they say, oh, you know what, Ms. Holmes, all your tests came back normal. All your tests came back normal. So we don't know what's going on with you. We don't know what happened. We don't know why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Well, guess what? I may not have told you, Doc, that I experienced something that was very deeply distressing. And maybe the symptoms that I'm seeing are as a result of the traumatic event I experienced. How many of us have ever said that to a doctor? Did we even make a correlation as to the possibility that maybe the reason why we're feeling the way that we're feeling? But if we don't know, right? If we don't know, then how are we going to know? But now that you know, because you're seeing it here and you're understanding it here, you can now look back in your life and ask yourself, was this thing that I experienced, maybe, was that something that could have caused the things that I'm feeling right now? Could it be that I was traumatized by this incident, event, or experience, and I never really realized that's what happened? This is why it's so important for us to understand trauma. There are so many reasons in so many ways why trauma is one of the most debilitating experiences people experience that we're not talking about enough. We talk about the symptoms, we talk about the behaviors, but we got to go back to the event, the incident of what that event or incident was that caused us to now be experiencing these symptoms. So I'm going to go through, let me bring this all up. For those who have never seen it before, let me just fill this out. So here you're looking at symptoms and behaviors of pain, right? Conditions of pain, why we feel pain, the challenges of wellness when we're experiencing pain. I want you to really look at this and tell me, I need a couple of people to really, really tell me right now, how do you feel when you look at this and look at these type of symptoms and the impacts of those things? You see anger, you see anxiety, you see breathless, you see debilitating, you see fear and torment, you see grief and sadness, guilt and remorse. Like these are real challenges when it comes to pain and wellness that a lot of people are experiencing. What are your thoughts as you look at this? How do you feel when you look at this? What do you feel?
Am I feeling this way?
But you're saying that could be you right now, right?
Yes.
Thank you for that honesty. Thank you so much for that.
I feel overwhelmed looking at all the different things that we could be facing. Because I don't think these show up just like onesie twosie, you know?
That is so true, Miss Holmes. That is so true. If you look on what you're seeing, some of them are the door that opens to others. So it's not just saying, okay, you're angry and anger stays by itself. You're angry, but it also could be, it takes your breath away. It can alter your mood or behavior. It can be fearful and tormenting. You can feel hopeless, you can feel incoherent. It has, so as you're looking at this and you feel like this weight on your chest, my God, like this is a lot, right? Imagine the person who is actually going through all of this and you don't see or know that they are. Imagine the person, right, who is going through all of this, feeling these things, feeling this way, and saying to themselves, my God, how much more can I take? How much more can I take? It's like my whole body feels like it's fighting against itself and I have no control over it. Loneliness is now one of the top 3 health conditions around the world. Depression and loneliness up there in the top 3, right? How can someone be lonely in an intimate marriage, in a marriage and an intimate relationship? How can someone be lonely living in the same home and the same house with family and loved ones? How can someone be lonely and feeling lonely surrounded by people who keep telling them that they love them and they care about them? How did loneliness get to be at the top of these health conditions when so many of us are living with and around people who we hold so near and dear to our hearts? It's because a lot of people are not able to express how they are truly feeling. And they can't tell the people who that they're around. They can't tell their family and loved ones. They can't tell their husbands or wives or intimate partners. They can't tell their children. They can't tell anyone. And so they feel so lonely, struggling with a lot of what they're going through with these conditions out of fear of talking about how they're feeling, fear of being rejected, fear of being labeled. And so as the pain is just permeating their whole body, physical and psychologically, we start realizing that people's reality versus our perceptions is 2 different things. Their reality versus what we think or what we think they're going through or what we think we know of them is 2 different things. This is why a lot of times you hear people say, you have no idea. You have no idea. So people are dying slowly or they're dying instantly. This is the hard reality. In my work, I can tell you, this is the hard reality. And the worst part about this whole thing is there are no age or gender limitations.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you think like babies and toddlers experience all of this as well?
Great question, Ms. Holmes. So here's the thing. In the last 15 years, because a lot of the growth hormones that we're in our foods and a lot of the chemicals that we're eating and digesting, when a child is born coming out of the womb today in 2025, the child is born with the intellect of a 2-year-old, meaning that the child's intellect level is so greatly advanced because the child is also experiencing a lot of what the mother is experiencing, right?
Yeah.
And so while the mother is experiencing things and the emotions the mother is going through and the hormones and all that, the child is feeding off of those things inside of the mother. We have seen a significant increase in children being born addicted to drugs coming out of the womb. They're born addicts, right? They're born an addict because the mother was an addict, right? So you have a lot of these young children who are very intellectual coming out of the womb just because they can't put their words together yet, just because they can't do all the things that we think they should be able to, doesn't mean that their ability to process and to see what's going on is at that age. So when you look at a child, right? I give you another example. You remember, 10, 20 years ago, you saw a child in a stroller, child had a doll or a toy or something physical. What do you see children with now in strollers?
iPads.
Phones, iPad,
iPad.
electronics.
Phones and iPad killing our children.
Yep.
They're killing their brain cell.
Lord help us.
Yes, sir.
But the other part of how children could experience these things and do experience them is, again, the same thing that you have in a home with adults. You have parents that are present, but not truly physically present, but they're not emotionally present for their children.
Yes.
So it creates the
Yes.
same type of effects. You have parents that don't have conversations with their kids, don't really interact with them. So it's the same type of effects and psychological traumas that children can experience.
That is so very true. But it's
No-
not even
No
so much
communication.
it's not even so much of the same. It is greater risk and it's a greater pain and suffering for a child when the parent is actually in the home but does not interact or engage with the child on that level. When the parent is not in the home, let's say, for example, a lot of homes without the fathers, right? When the father is not in the home, the child can say, well, my dad is not home, so I don't get to see my dad. I'm not around my dad, right? And people will be like, okay, we understand that. Okay, we get it. But when the child says, my dad is home, but he never spends time with me, he's always on his phone, he's always doing that, or my mom is always on her phone, or she's always talking with him, and I'm hearing her talking with other people and how she is angry and upset, and all these things that they're talking about, he's talking about. The child is right there, hearing and seeing these things that are happening, right? When I tell people we have more 4 to 9-year-old children right now who are suicidal, right? 4 to 9-year-old children. I want you to listen to me very carefully. In our Black and brown and minority communities, our young children between 4 to 9 years old are in dire need of attention. They are thinking of death, wanting to die. They are talking about, when you sit with a 4-year-old to talk about why do you feel this way, you will be shocked at what a 4-year-old child will say to you as to why they feel the way that they're feeling. And so when I talk about this and people are saying to me, okay, you know what, Mrs. Scudder, like that doesn't make any sense. What does a 4-year-old know about these things? And I said, that's the problem right there. That right there, that question right there is the problem. A lot of our children are in homes where all what you're seeing on the screen right now is happening in the home. And they are there witnessing and hearing and feeling the impacts and the heightened emotions and the behaviors of. We have to understand here, this is not something new. We are way behind the ball. Ms. Holmes, we should have been having these conversations 20 years ago. Well, I was talking about it 20 years ago, but people looked at me like, oh God, here he goes again. He's going to talk about this whole mental health and suicide thing. That's what they used to say to me. Every time I go to an event or I'm speaking and they say, does anyone have any questions? And I raise my hand, they're like, oh my God, here he go again. He's going to talk about the same thing. I've been saying this for 25 years. Like we knew this was happening, but we weren't paying attention. And now I give the analogy. This is like the kettle, right? You pour the water in the kettle, Miss Holmes. You put the kettle on the stove, nothing happens, right? We're comfortable. Everybody's okay. Everybody's good. You turn the fire on, everybody's still comfortable and everybody's good. But when the water inside the kettle gets to that point where it's boiling hot and it starts whistling, everybody jumps up. Oh my God, the kettle is on the stove and its water is hot. Listen, this. So that's where we are right now. The whistling of the kettle is what's raising everyone's awareness to, oh my God, we are in a state of crisis. But guess what? We are so behind. We are so behind. This is not a clinical problem. It's a healthcare, a public healthcare problem. This is not expecting doctors and clinicians to solve this problem. No, it's not. So we talk about stress. Let's just look at stress, right? Let's just look at stress and anxiety. Everyone feels stressed and anxious at some point in our life. Is there anyone in this room right now can honestly say to me, Mrs. Scudder, I have never experienced stress and anxiety? If there is someone in this room right now who can say that, you must be from a different planet. You must be from a different planet. I would love to go to your planet. By living in New York City alone, just by living in New York City, you're around stress and anxiety every day. You take public transportation, you go on the bus or train, stress and anxiety. You get to your job, even before you go to your job, just to get to your job, stress and anxiety. The people at your job, some of us don't even like the people at our job. Some of us, before we even leave our house, oh my, I can't stand going into that place. I don't want to go back in that place. Lord, I can't stand going in that place. I can't stand those stress and anxiety. Come on, I need somebody to tell me that you have not felt stress or anxiety at some point in your life. Because I'm telling you right now, when I speak at events, right, for example, especially when there are clinicians in the room and I'm speaking to health providers and health practitioners, and I say, good morning or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brett Scudder and I'm crazy. And Ms. Holmes, I sit there and I look at the faces of the people and how they like, did he just say he's crazy? Like, who is this guy? So I ask, how many people in here are crazy? Raise your hand. Sometimes rooms, 300, 400, 500 people in a room, and you have one person raise their hand. 5 people raise their hand. And I said, really? Oh, okay. Thank you so much for all the people who, I see Miss Farah raise her hand. Thank you, my sister. I love you dearly. Thank you. For all the crazy people with me. Thank you. I love you all. For all the people who say they're not crazy, let me break it down to you as to 10 reasons why you're crazy. 1, you live in New York City. You have to be crazy as hell to live in New York City. Okay? That's number 1. So let's get that out of the way. You live in New York City. 2, you work in New York City. Another reason why you're crazy as hell. You work in New York City. 3, you take public transportation in New York City. God knows if you take public transportation in New York City and you're not crazy, something's wrong with you. 4, you're overworked and underpaid. Is anybody in this room right now feeling that they're paid what they want to be, they feel they should be paid? Right? Is anyone in here right now who can say that you're being paid well enough for you to feel good? No. And that's 5 things. I could go on for maybe another 10, 15 things as to why we're crazy and living in this heightened, stressful city with so many challenges. So many challenges. So if you are stressed, everyone, listen very carefully. If you are feeling stressed, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling a heightened level of anxiety, it's okay. What is not okay is not to seek help. That is not okay. If you notice at the bottom where it says heightened anxiety, stress can have serious and severe physical and psychological health impacts. Heightened anxiety and stress can have physical and psychological impacts. I'm just going to leave that to sit for a minute. I'm going to leave that red one there at the bottom to sit for a minute. And when you think of that, I want you to ask yourself, be honest with yourselves, everybody. Be honest with yourself. Are you in some kind of pain that is really bothering you, really making you uncomfortable, really making you uncomfortable, and you can't figure out why you're feeling this pain, or you can't figure out where this pain is coming from, but you know that this pain is just very uncomfortable and you just feel overwhelmed by it. And I'm going to challenge you with this. Spend some quality time by yourself, with yourself, and look back in your life. Go back through your life and ask yourself, what have I experienced over these years in my life that was really very hurtful for me? Really something that really upset me to the point that I was just mad, angry. Ask yourself, if something happened like that, do I still carry the emotions of that experience? And how long have I been carrying those baggage of emotions? You'd be surprised when I work with people who come in for counseling. Sometimes I have to go all the way back to their childhood. Go back all the way back to their childhood. Do you understand? Miss Reed, we got to go all the way back to adults' childhood to find out something that happened to them when they were a child, and start working from then, working our way back to where they are right now. This is not a joke, everyone. This is very, very serious, right? This is very, very serious. We are in a healthcare crisis. Make no mistake, if anyone in here has ever tried to get a mental health appointment within the last few months, tell me if that appointment was within 4 to 6 months from now. You can't even get an appointment to see a mental health person within the next 4 to 6 months. So how do we end up in these type of pain and suffering, right? Tell me. Wake up, everybody. Wake up, wake up, wake up. How do we end up in these type of distresses and things? Give me some examples.
I believe that it is by design. I believe that there are systems in place that were purposely planned so that, I'm going to use your word, so we can go crazy.
I couldn't have said it better.
I agree with Amaka.
I could not have said it any better.
Starting with television and that programming for the baby boomers.
Visual programming. Visual programming. So when you hear people say the system is broken, it's not broken. It is working exactly the way that it was designed to work. So tell me, that's just some other reasons. How do we end up in this stress? System is set up that way, yes. But what else? There are so many things. Just throw some at me. Come on, let's go. How do we end up in distress? How do we end up in, with heightened anxiety and stress?
Important statistics. So with that, also, I feel about social media too plays a big factor.
Social media. Yes, ma'am. I could do a whole thing with you on the impacts of social media.
Thinking about what is in the benefit of everyone, because I was talking to my family over the weekend, and my son was saying that he has another phone now that he doesn't do social media anymore. So that he just focused on a call, like he doesn't go on social media, because now, the social media has these algorithms where they know what you're looking for, what they know what you like and what you don't like, what colors you like, what you don't like. And so every time you go in, it goes to those kind of pictures or videos or whatever. So he says he has a separate phone where he doesn't do social media. It just calls that phone to him because he doesn't like looking at it's sometimes it's depressing too. So he doesn't look at the social media.
Yes, ma'am. It is very frightening. Impacts of technology and social media on people, especially our young children. Right now, it is a serious health crisis when it comes to the technology and social media. I have a slide in my presentation, in one of my presentations, where I show the brain scan, the image scan of a brain that's on crack and cocaine, right? And it shows what the brain looks like to an addict who is on crack and cocaine. So when I do the presentation, I put the slide up and I say, hey, everyone, take a look at this. This is a scan of someone's brain who is an addict to crack and cocaine. And I asked them, do we understand what addiction really is? And everybody was like, yeah, the crack and the cocaine addiction is very bad and it's all that. And I said, how serious do you think that addiction is? And people say it is a very serious addiction. All right. Thank you. Next slide. Same brain, same scan. And I said, does this brain scan look the same like the one we looked at crack and cocaine? And everybody's like, yeah, that is the same brain scan, isn't it? It looks just the same. And then I just have the words come up above it. Brain scan of someone who is addicted to technology and mobile devices and social media. Hold on, what? What are you saying here? Same brain scan, crack and cocaine, same brain scan of technology and the social media addiction, both addictions doing the same thing to the brain. And you don't think we have serious issues here, serious challenges here? When we are allowing our kids to have unfettered access to all this data and technology, all this stuff. Had a 9-year-old boy who told me, oh, he wanted to kill himself because his boo broke his heart. 9-year-old, a 6-year-old girl who her mother told her it was a Sunday morning, it was too early for you to be on your iPad. It's a Sunday morning, we got to get ready for church. So took the iPad away from her, didn't hear her for an hour or two, went to go find her, hung herself in her room. 6-year-old girl in the Bronx. Another 6-year-old child, mother told them, I'm not allowing you to have any kind of technology or any type of screen time like that. You are not ready for that, all that. Next thing you know, mother tried to find a child. Child's not in the house. Child jumped out the 14th floor window.
Wow.
5-year-old went into the bathroom, went into the medicine chest, knew that his mother was taking meds, looked for the meds, took the med, drank a whole bunch of them, saying he wanted to kill himself. Mother came in, found him shaking inside the tub, 5 years old. If she had gotten there a few minutes later, he probably would have died. She had to pump him. She had to flush him out, flush all of that stuff out of him. 5-year-old, took him to the emergency room. What did they do? They put him on adult medication, adult psychotropic medications as a 5-year-old child. The director of the emergency room called me. She said, Mr. Scudder, I need your help. You would not believe what just happened. Listen, if I was to tell you the things that I see and deal with every day in my work, I have the unveiled truth, like the naked truth of what people are going through. You will see someone post something on Instagram or social media, had the best day of my life, taking a selfie and all that. That person just left a counseling session with me, crying their eye out, talking about how their life sucks, how their relationship sucks, their family sucks, and they're going through all that. Next thing I know, I get a pop-up alert that this person just posted something on social media. I look on social media, that person is grinning, smiling, and talking about the best day of their life, how their life is. Oh my God. I truly wish, I truly, truly wish that we could come to a place where we could just be authentic, for us to really know how serious the state that many of us are living in, the pain, the suffering that many of us are going through. Your heart couldn't take it. Let me go through these real quick. So we're talking about how we end up in distress. A lot of us may not think about these things. So let me help you go through. If your health changes, think about that. What happened if your health changed? What if you go to the doctor says now your blood pressure is high, cardiovascular, your cholesterol is high, your risk for a stroke, or you have terminal disease? What about employment? People say, Mr. Scudder, wouldn't unemployment be the reason why someone is in crisis? I said, imagine that, right? You think someone who is employed have stress? What about the people who are working who are more stressed by just working where they work? You never thought about that, huh? You think that the person who is unemployed is stressed out. There are people who are working and just the environment of their job, the roles and responsibilities of their job is just more than they can take. Life changes and challenges, right? What about homelessness? You know, people, whenever I talk about homelessness, people say to me, Mrs. Scudder, I feel so bad when I see these people on the street. And I'm just like, so you think homelessness is only about the people that are on the street? Is that what your thought of homelessness is? So let me tell you about the different types of homelessness. There are people who are living in somebody else's house. That's homelessness. That is not your house. You're living in someone else's house. That person may be giving you shelter because you are homeless living in somebody else's house. You're homeless living in the shelter. You're homeless. You could be living, but you're still homeless. So you're looking at homelessness from the person on the street, and we don't see the people who are living in these environments and understanding what homelessness is. Some of these people are under so much strict control living in other people's homes that they can't even breathe. They have curfews. Ms. Holmes, this grown people have curfew. You got to be in my house by 9 o'clock. Like you're a grown adult, but because you're living in my house, you got to be here by, like, what? Wait, what? Ah, boy. Ah, my goodness. Divorce, separation, family, grief, loss. Listen, I'm going to give it all to you. Just let me go back. Sorry. Whoop. Let me make sure that you can see all of this. So these are some of the top reasons from my work that I see every day and I hear every day, right? These are some of the top reasons as how people end up in emotional pain and distress, right? When you are giving your child a pet and allowing your child to have a pet, let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. When you bring a pet into your home and that pet is now a part of the family, you don't understand that if that pet dies for whatever reason, the psychological impact on someone in that house is going to be so severe that that person may end up in counseling or therapy. Broken because of that death, hurting because of that death, can't function because of that death. Having a pet is not just a pet. That pet is now a psychological connection that means love, companionship to someone in that house or multiple people in that house. So when that pet dies, do you know how many people kill themselves every year because they lost a pet? Do you know how many children, after the pet dies, just completely lose it? It's not like you can say the dog died, the cat died, the fish died, the bird died, I'm going to get another one. No. There is no replacing that pet. There is no other pet that can be replaced for that pet. That pet is a significant pet in that child's life, in that person's life. I got invited to a funeral years ago for a pet that died, and that funeral was a more grand funeral than a human being that I've ever been to. The pet had a coffin, the pet had a grave, the pet had... A lot of people kill themselves when they lose a pet. So when you are bringing a pet into your home, just understand that it's not just a simple thing as saying there's a pet, we're bringing in a pet. You have to understand what that means, right? And not just the responsibilities. Take a look down on that list. Do you see the word underlined in red? Can somebody tell me what that word is? What do you think that word means in that statement? Can somebody just read that line, please? Because I got to wake you up. Come on, you wake up, people. Wake up. Come on, work with me. Wake up. What is the
Lack
word
of-
in red?
Lack of needed love, empathy, support, companionship.
Why is the word needed in red and underlined?
Lacking.
Because it's being overlooked and not considered.
Lacking, man. My God.
I want you to read the sentence again, and I want you to look at the word in red, and I want you to think about the word in red as you read that whole sentence. Lack
Love is
of,
a necessity. That's what it's saying. Love is a necessity.
let me break that down a little bit more for you.
All is needed.
Let me expand that word in a very, very big way for you. If you don't know how I need to be loved, how are you going to love me? Think about that. If you don't know how I need to be loved, how are you going to love me? If your child comes to you and says, you don't love me, you don't care about me, you just don't care about me, you're going to be like, how can you say that? I do all these things for you. I do this, I do. That's because you don't understand what the needed love is. If you have an intimate partner, whether your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and the partner says to you, you're not giving me the love that I need. And you're like, what are you talking about? I cook for you, clean for you, I rub your back, give you a massage, I do all these things for you. What are you talking about? The way that I need to be loved is not the way that you are giving me love. And so the needed here, let's expand the word needed. We assume that we know what someone needs. We assume that we know what love means and how we give love to someone. But if we don't know what that person's need for love is, or what empathy and support and companionship means to that person, it goes back to something we said earlier, right? If the parent is in the home, but is not engaging with the child or spending time with the child, does the child feel the love that they need? Just because you put food on the table, food in the refrigerator, you cook, you make dinner, is that the love that the child needs? No. I give you another example. Children come in and they say, Mr. Scudder, I wish I could talk to my parents the way I talk to you. Why can't I talk to my parents the way I talk to you? Why can't my parents listen the way you listen? Why can't and all these things. And I said, tell me, what does your parent do for you? I have the latest iPhone. I have the latest Samsung. I have a PS5. I have all materialism, a lot of material things. And then I asked the question, so what is it that you really need from your parent? I just need to spend more time. I need my parent to spend time with me, right? I need my parent to do something that I want to do. I need my parent to do something the way I want it to be done. I need my parent to spend just time with me. And I'm like, oh my God, as I'm listening to this poor child, I'm like, oh my God. Jesus. Like, you have to know someone to be able to love them the way they need. You're wasting time if you think you're going to love them the way you think they need to be loved, right, Ms. Holmes? Think about it. If you are spending time with someone to show them love, but you're giving them the love through your eyes, not the way they want to be loved, then they feel like they are not loved.
What do you do when the person doesn't know how they need to be loved?
But
Like they haven't figured that out yet.
But this is why we have conversations, right? This is why we have conversations, right? Lamaka, tell me, how can I love you in a way that you will feel loved? How can I love you in a way that you feel like this is meaningful for you? Like, those are the questions that we need to be asking our children, our loved ones, our family members. We are wasting time, and we're putting too much time into the wrong things in the wrong places, and people feel that they're not getting the needed love. They're not getting it. Not saying that someone is not showing them love, but the love that they need is not the love that they're receiving. And so they feel like, I just can't.
The problem is the technology. People are not really engaging with each other in terms of real conversation, authentic conversations, or even making the time to have conversations. Heck, in many homes, people are not even having dinner together. They're not sitting at the table together. You know,
Lord have mercy.
parents pick up their kids from school. They don't have conversations with them. It's the technology is taking over everything.
Miss Franz, you are spot on 100%. But let's go back to something that Miss Holmes had said that I really want us again to show you how the social construct we live in is created to do that and distract us and take our time. If you can't make ends meet with one job, you're going to have multiple jobs. You need to make more money to live in a city that is the most expensive city in the world. And you are a poor person living in New York City and you're working one job, that one job can't make it. So you take two jobs, that two jobs can't make it. You take three jobs, your entire life is working. You have no time for yourself. You have no quality time for your children. You come home, you're tired, exhausted, you got to sleep for an hour or two to get back to the next shift. The system is set up in a way for us to fail. And if we don't understand that it's more valuable to spend time with quality time with your children and in your home than it is to make this money, you're going to make this money but not have a quality home. That's the piece that people are not understanding. People think that I need to make the money to have a lifestyle. I give you another example. People come in and they say, oh, Mr. Scudder, I'm so stressed out. I have to be working 2-3 jobs. And I said, all right, hold on a second. Just take a breath. I want you to tell me, what are the expenses in the house? Tell me, what are the expenses? And they start listing and they start going through. And I said, all right, so listen, you don't need this. You don't need that. You don't need this. You don't need that. Oh, yes, Mr. Scudder, we need that. We can't do without this. No, we need that. Really? Why? Why? Okay, now you're justifying the need and then telling yourself that this is the reason why I got to go out there and work 24 hours a day to fill a need. But then you're complaining about the fact that you don't have a quality of life. You have no days off. You have no time for self-care. You have can't afford. So you're sacrificing yourself. So something has to give here. Something has to give, right? So let me break this down because I know time is something that's very precious. Let me show you something. Brace yourself for this. Okay, you ready? This slide that you're about to see is a 4-hour workshop that I do with clinicians, law enforcement, educators, clergy, all of that. I'm just going to give it to you because you're all so beautiful right now. I'm going to give it to you in 10 minutes. So stay with me. What I'm about to show you is a hard reality that until you see it, you're not even going to understand it. You have to see this to understand. So here's where we go. Let me let you catch your breath for a minute as you look at this. What you're looking at is the human conditions of emotional pain, the stressors and impacts. Now, the first one that we went through with the other things with, that is within this. This is the expanded version. All right. As you look at these things and you say, oh my God, that's a lot, right? That's the thought that comes to your mind, right? You feel like, wow, this is a lot. This is overwhelming. But what you're looking at in these symptoms and stuff, and then why people self-medicate. Can you blame someone for even trying to cope with all of this if they're that overwhelmed that they're self-medicating? Do you know that it used to take a psychiatrist to write a prescription for you to get narcotics? Do you know that right now you can go in many corner blocks in Brooklyn, Manhattan, anywhere in New York City and buy drugs that used to be prescribed by psychiatrists? Do you know that fentanyl is killing so many people in New York City? Did you know that? Do you know that fentanyl is 100 times stronger than oxycodone and Percocet and Vicodin? Do you know the power of fentanyl? Like fentanyl can knock somebody either dead or psychologically in a psychosis. People are self-medicating because they're going through a lot. Kids in schools now, this is the part that freaks me out, is you hear a lot of kids in schools talking about they're bipolar, they're depressed. Oh, I'm bipolar. Oh, I'm depressed. They're analyzing themselves to say that they're bipolar and depressed. And now one of them who is seeing a psychiatrist, who does have medication prescription from a psychiatrist, is now sharing that medication with their friends because their friends are saying that they too are bipolar and depressed. So one child with a diagnosis on medication is now sharing that medication with other kids who feel like they themselves are depressed, they themselves are bipolar, they're depressed, they themselves are going through a lot. But here's where it gets crazier. Here's where it gets even worse. When the kids are taking the medications, they don't understand the medication measurement, 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams, 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams. And so they're just popping it like it's a pill. They're just popping it. And next thing you know, the child has an overdose, ends up in the emergency room, or God forbid, dying. And now you find out that the child was taking a narcotic that was too strong. So let's expand on this a little bit more. Since you think this is not a lot, let's expand a little bit more. You can't go through all of these without having physical health impacts, right? There's no way you can be going through these conditions, physical and psychological, without health impacts. But there's no way you can go through health impacts without financial impacts too, right? At some point, you're either going to go bankrupt, you spend all your money to take care of your health, you're going to use your credit card to cover debt that you know you can't. So you're adding on to all these things with financial challenges. And if you have financial challenges, folks, you're going to have legal issues too. So now you wonder why, we have this heightened sense of people just feeling like, I can't go anymore. I'm done. I'm done. This is too much. Going back to what Ms. Holmes said, a system that was created for us to think about a dream that we could never attain. We could never reach that dream. We will never fit in because it wasn't made for us to fit in. We will never be financially secure because it was never made for us to be financially secure. 6 years ago, the statistics said that you have to make $180,000 to live at a baseline comfortable level in New York City. $180,000. That was 6 years ago. What happened in the last 5 years? We had COVID. The pandemic came and everything. Do you know what that statistic is now to be even considered a middle-class family earning? I won't even break your heart with that. Let me leave this here. Let us talk about what we learned today. Let's really talk about what we learned today. What did you take away from this today that for you, yourself, that you will now implement in your life for your families? Talk to your children, have weekly family meetings where you can talk about our mental health as a family to be safe. We want to talk about our mental health. We want to talk about how are we doing? How are we feeling? What is your takeaway?
My God, my God, my God, my God. I want to speak this evening. And I created something in my household. I have 2 boys that are challenging. I don't give them phones. They don't. One is 12, one is 13. And they don't have phones because I see what's happening with the children with these phones. I'm on the bus, I'm on the train, you see a 2-year-old child crying for the phone, the mother give it. I want to say, don't do that, but I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Yep.
What I created in my household months ago, over here now, is spending time together on a Friday. Because, okay, they go to school, homework is there to be done. dinner time, etc., etc. But one of the things they have to do for me before they go to bed is read a book.
Mm.
Read a book. On Fridays and Friday night, it's what I call family time. No TV. We find games to play. We talk about what the week was like unto, etc., etc. What did Tom say in school? What did the teacher say in school? What did they learn in school? We go to church on a Sunday. What did the teacher say in Sunday school, etc., etc. And this is where we need to get back to the family. The family needs to get back together. We eat together. In one case, I heard that there was this household where the child was upstairs, mother is downstairs, and before the child come down and talk to mommy, she texts the mother right in the household there, texting the mother as to what you need to get done or what you want to do. You understand me? And this is posing a problem for everybody, young and old. And if we don't start to do something, it's going to get worse. Worse. I truly spend time with my children. My children do not leave my house. Every morning, 5:30, we are up for devotion. My children go on the school bus. Right in front of the bus, I give them a kiss and say, have a blessed day. I love you. We need to get back to these kind of things that we are accustomed to, especially us with this pigment here. It's very sad. It brings. I'm sitting on here, but I'm in tears. I'm in tears. Right now, my boys are watching TV. Why? Because I'm in a meeting. I want some peace of mind. But my TV lockdown due in school days. School night, you don't put my TV on. Unless I'm going to watch the news. And once the news is finished, I turn it on. They like to watch Jeopardy. Okay, I don't give them every night. I say, if you want to watch Jeopardy, you have to know when it's finished at 8 o'clock. Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, when it done at 8 o'clock, you're going to spend some time reading a book. Back to basics. Many of us are single parents. Back to basics. Find time for your family. Oh my God. Oh my God. The whole.
In our next series next week, I'm gonna go deeper into this technology piece for you. Okay, so we're gonna get there, and I'm gonna show you some ways and things that as a parent you need to be doing. Technology is not a bad thing. We can't get away from it.
No, we can't.
It's where we are.
It's good and bad.
But it needs to be regulated and managed effectively.
Yes. Rules.
I've seen children in full-blown manic attack breakdown just because a parent took the phone from. I'm talking about a 1-year-old child.
Yep.
Full manic breakdown.
Jeez.
The parent took the phone from the child. And
God.
everybody just sit around looking at this, like this thing playing out on a bus or the train or on the side of the street. This child drop on the ground, rolling, screaming, and hollering. 1-year-old. Don't you? That's a serious type of behavior. But anyway, that's for the next. All right, let me hear from Swat. Thank you so much, my sister, for sharing that. I want to hear from, come on, let me hear from you. What did you take away from today's presentation that you will now use in your life and your home? You don't have to feel bad of saying anything, you know, because I know every single person in here is facing these things. It's not a question of if, I know.
Yeah, you're more so being upfront, being honest, more willing to speak how you feel, or even write about it in a journal, talk to your friends, talk to the people in the neighborhood. I think things like this are a good way to build community, and maybe even on the weekends, maybe instead of being in your house, going for a walk with your neighbors on the weekend, starting a book club, starting a reading club or anything, or a writing club where you just everyone gets together, right? Hey, to this week was a challenging week. What's going on with the news? How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? So those are some of the things I probably take.
Thank you. Can we all just give a round of applause? There's a gentleman in this space right now. Can we all give a round of applause that there is a male in this space? My God, do you know how often we have these events and there are no males, just the mothers and the women show up? My brother, we celebrate you. We acknowledge you. We thank you for showing up and being here, because You showed up, my brother. You showed up. Thank you. And you're right. Last night, I spoke to a group of parents who have children with autism and Down syndrome and Asperger's. It's a group of parents across the city, and the organization serves the parents. And I told them, I said, this time, you see that weather outside? It's beautiful. Come together as a group. Let's go into the park. We're going to take fun games. We're going to take, different things. We're going to find a park that has a pond outside of the city, not in New York City. We got to get out of New York City, people. It's very easy. It's not expensive to take a bus or a train to go somewhere outside of the city. Experience nature. Experience how your body adjusts when you're around nature. Take your shoe off and walk in the grass, put your feet on the ground, connect with nature. Go touch a tree, spend time with a plant, nature. So we were planning that last night. A group of parents who have children with special needs, taking them outside of the city. You know how many of us have never left New York City? The concrete jungle, the place that you can't even find peace or breathe because there's no natural air anymore. You got to get out of the city. So my brother, thank you for that. Great points. Yes, as groups can get together on weekends, instead of everybody spending time in their homes and all that. Yeah, let's get together, have picnics, family days, fun days in the park. Let's get out. We've been locked up for 6 months because of the cold weather. Now it's getting warm. And trust me, we're going to get back into cold very quickly. So you better take very good advantage of this warm weather. Anybody else? Come on, talk to me.
Oh.
Talk to me.
God, my God, my God. Jesus. Mm. Mm. We're suffering, our children are suffering even more. My God.
I did this presentation last week, Thursday. There was a lady that came in the presentation and she was like, Mrs. Scudder, I just lost my therapist. My therapist left and she moved to another country. And I'm so hurting right now because she left. I was just building up this relationship with the therapist. And I said to her, I gave her my number in the workshop and I said, call me. Make sure you call me right after. She's like, okay. I said, yeah, call me. So she calls me after and I said, tell me what's going on. She started to tell me. And I said, you know what? Right now, my schedule is really booked. I'm not going to lie to you. My schedule is really booked because I have people who are telling me they will wait for me. Like I have a waiting list of people. They say I'm not going to anybody else. Now, 99% of the people who come to me, they have a psychiatrist and a psychologist. But there's some reason why they come to me for counseling. There's something, and I keep asking them, why you all come to me? And they say, well, listen, I heard you talk about what you've been through, the fact that you were able to go through what you go through and you're here now doing this work. I feel like I can become. So I told them, I said, listen, a therapist is like this. You just because you're a therapist doesn't mean you have to connect with that person. You have to keep going through until you find one that you're connected with. And they asked me in the group, they said, Mrs. Scudder, do you have a therapist? I said, I have 3 therapists. I have 3. You don't think the work that I do needs me to have like I don't have 1, I have 3. Plus, I have a network of clinicians. I have access to maybe 800-900 clinicians around New York City. And I can pick up the phone at any time and say, hey, man, listen, I just had a day and I just need to talk right now. That's how I deal with it. So when she called me and she told me what she was going through, I said, my God, all right. So I will fit you in my schedule, but it's going to be after hours. Is that okay? Because right now my days are booked up, but my after hours I can fit you in. And she was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was just like, think about that. How many people are in desperate, dire need with what they're going through right now and need to see and talk with someone, and they're being told the next appointment we have is 6 months from now. So what are you supposed to do with what you're going through right now with everything that we talked about? Let's just visualize that, what we talked about tonight. If you're going through all of that right now, and you're struggling and you're hurting and you're crying out for help, you're acknowledging that you need help, but then the very systems that are supposed to be there to help you are now telling you you have to wait 4, 5, 6 months to see somebody. So what are you supposed to do during that time? This is the real state that we're in right now, folks. We need to understand this. I tell people all the time, do your best. Please, I'm begging you. Do your best to manage your stress and anxiety levels. Do your best to keep your mental health intact. Do your best to promote more of your emotional resilience, your emotional wellness, your resilience to everything that's going on, because God forbid that you need to see someone, it is not going to happen overnight.
I just wanted to say that in crisis, people should try to use the 988 number. I have referred people to it and I have gotten good feedback about it for the most part. And I'm also aware that they also have a, what is it called? A mobile crisis unit. It beats
ma'am.
if a family is really having a challenge, it beats having to call 911. Though I always
And
say if
under-
someone feels that their life is in danger, then you have to make that call. But 988 is an excellent resource.
And just be prepared when you make that call to 988, be prepared to go through the process, because if someone is in crisis and someone is going through something and it needs to be escalated, just be prepared. Just be prepared. Any other thoughts? A lot of people, Miss Holmes, Miss Reed, a lot of people right now are processing, so we have to allow them to process. It's all right, everybody. I know your silence is not a bad thing. You know, you've gotten a lot of real things to think about. You've gotten a lot of realities that are, you know, like right there in front of you that you really have to face. So I get it. I understand.
Thank you for the presentation and all the information that you shared. Yeah, I see why some people want to meet with you personally because you seem very, you know, like very relatable and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot to think about.
Yes, ma'am. We either think about it now or we think about it when we're in the midst of the crisis and the storm is rocky, the sea is rough, and God knows now it's not going to just take me, but a whole bunch of other people now to address the situation, because now we're in the height of all of this. But yeah. So 911 is a resource, 988 is a resource, but I'm going to say this. Before you make that call, before you make the call to either one, be prepared for whatever else comes with that. Because if you call 988 and somebody's in crisis and they assess the situation as a high risk situation, they're going to request someone to come. And that someone may most likely be NYPD. And there is a lot of fear when it comes to NYPD. That's why Daniel's Law, the Daniel's Law is the law that's being passed that says that police should not be responding to people who are in emotional distress, because we have seen many people get killed as a result of law enforcement showing up. The person is acting erratic and the person may be acting violent, not because the person is violent, but the person is going through emotional things. And next thing you know, they're shot and killed. I went through an emotional distress back in October last year. 911 came, I was handcuffed and I was taken to a psych emergency room. When the police showed up, I was coherent, I was compliant, I did everything the officer told me. He asked me what was going on, I told him what was going on. I wasn't violent, I wasn't aggressive. I didn't know, I was giving him straight answers, so I was very coherent. He said it's a policy that I be taken to the psychic ward because there was a risk of self-harm. I was like, really? When he put the handcuff on me, I tell you, everybody, I've never been handcuffed before. When he put the handcuff on me, I felt everything in my body fall out of me. I fell to the ground and I started crying.
That's why people are afraid to call them. Or afraid to call them.
Yeah. So just be prepared. When the call is made, a lot of times we may not know how it escalates, but just be prepared.
Thank you. Does anyone have any follow-up questions?
Thank you so much, my dear. Miss Cindy, thank you. I'm rubbing my head.
You're welcome.
Our
Oh
next,
my God.
our next session next
Mr.
week,
Wright, thank you,
we're,
thank you, thank you,
we're-
thank you, thank you. I can't
we're,
miss.
we're going to go into the
Oh.
technology and social media pieces, because to me, that is the most severe threat that we face right now is technology. So I'm going to show you some of the ways in which you can protect yourself and your children during this time. Is not taking technology away from them. That's not the solution. The solution is having real conversations with them for them to understand that you're giving them use of the technology and the device for specific reasons. And outside of that, no. But I'll go through all of that, and we're going to discuss all that. I'll give you some of the best practices, the ways to deal with that, the way to have the conversations with them. How many of you are familiar with the actress Jennifer Gardner?
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer Garner. She is Ben Affleck's ex-wife. She starred in Alias as she starred in the movie Peppermint. She's a well-known actress, really good. She was interviewed sometime last year, and she said they don't give their children technology, right? And the oldest one, I think, is 16 or 17. And she asked, "Mom, can I have a phone?" And she said, "If you can find one, just one thing that says having a phone can improve your quality of life and make you better, if you can find anywhere on the internet that says one thing that says this phone and social media will make you better, I will think about that." Steve Jobs, the man who invented the iPhone, the man who was the top of Apple,
I don't have
did
it.
not give his children.
Phone. So why should I give my child?
Thank you very much.
Why should I give my?
Steve Jobs said he
Yep.
knew the risks and understood the risks of technology in the hands of children. And
Yep.
even though he was the one who
Invented it.
invented and brought this thing to life and led one of the most, even to today, one of the top technological companies that makes mobile devices, he did not give his children.
I saw the interview. Yep.
I'll leave you to think about that.
My God.
Miss Reed, Miss Holmes, my
Thank
love to you both.
Thank you so much.
My love to you both for allowing me to share this knowledge and information with everyone. I'm so grateful for the time we spent together edifying on these very important topics. If there is anyone in here who has a need for any kind of help in what we talked about tonight, if you are going through some things and you feel like, oh my God, this is overwhelming and this is a lot, please give me a call. All right. I'll give you my number again. Right. For those who did not get my number, let me just, Miss Holmes, just give me 1 second. Let me just put this back up on the screen.
Sure.
Take a picture of it, everyone. If you need
Oh
to
my God.
reach out to me, please do so. I will do my best to fit you into my schedule and, do what I can do. Whoops. There is my number. Okay, let me go back to, all right. So you have my contact information. You can reach me through Miss Reed, who is also, we stay in touch, Miss Holmes as well. If you can't reach me, you can reach out to Miss Reed and Miss Holmes. They will know how to get a hold of me. But please, if you are going through something right now in this space and you need help, please do not wait. I'm begging you, please do not wait. Address it immediately. Address it now. And let's not wait for it to get more or worse than it is. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm truly honored to be here with you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you and everything you shared tonight. Look forward to our next session next week. And those of you who are on, and I just put another reminder in the chat. If you are a resident, please put the word resident in the chat. I'm going to share my screen so we can see who I have already. We're going to do the raffle now. So if you don't see your name, that means I need to capture it, okay? And I'm going to read it just in case we have some people who aren't able to see my screen. So just give me one moment, please. Okay, so far, what just happened? Okay, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to read all the names. And if you don't hear your name, I would like for you to either unmute, that's what I prefer, tell me your name, or you can put it in the chat, okay? So I have Krish, I have Vine, Ariel, Farah, RG, Maudlin, Amina, Libya, Logan, Judith, Gilbert, Bailey, Aubrey, and Bright. Feel free to unmute if you did not hear your name and you are a resident, or, okay, Sade, I'll add you on.
Brett is missing off that list. Where is Brett? I don't see.
Oh, they're
I
not
don't-
here anymore?
I don't get a chance to be part of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's only for residents, not service providers. Sorry.
Oh.
I thought you were saying Bright. I'm sorry. You saying yourself. All right. Anyone else that I might have missed? Going once, going twice. All right. We're going to get the spinning going. We're going to pick 3 people. Okay. Let me move this down so you guys can see. All right. Here we go. All right. Maudlin, you are our first winner.
Come here.
Okay, so everyone who wins, I need you to hold on. I'm going to put a link in the chat for you to fill out a quick form so we can capture your information. So Maudlin, I definitely need you to hold on, okay? Don't leave us yet. All right, we're going to do 2 more. Here we go. All right, Sade, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
You're welcome.
Came in last.
I know, right? Well, I think Sade might have been here.
Oh
Oh,
my.
did I take it away already?
Ah.
I guess I deleted it that quick. I don't remember deleting it. Okay. All right. Last one. Oh, that was a close one. Sarah, congratulations. Okay, so everyone who just got their name called, I need the 3 of you to fill out this form. I'm going to put the link in the chat. This is how we're going to be able to reach you to actually give you the gift card, okay? So those 3 people, the link is in the chat. I need you to fill that form out quickly. And when you're done, put the word done in the chat so I'll know. And again, if you're able to unmute, I'd like for you to verbally just say thank you again to Mr. Scudder and him spending his time with us tonight. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. And everyone, I thank you. This was a great session. Thank you so much for those of you who shared and, asked questions, gave feedback. That's how we keep the conversation going when we're open with each other. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you. I'm going to stop the recording. And right now we're just waiting for my 3 people who won to put done in the chat.